I'm so pleased to welcome back my next guest, a legend, a man I call a friend. We've met years ago in Dealey Plaza. Robert Groden, the legend who brought the world the Zapruder film. Robert, it's great to see you. You're looking well.
It's great to be back, Jason. How you been?
I've been well. You and I have been on some cool adventures together. We actually shot a virtual reality sort of 360 thing at the home of Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't know if you realize this, but you are in my Twitter background here. This is us outside Lee Harvey Oswald's home recreating a stereoscopic 360 image of the famous backyard photograph, and that was a fun day. But Robert, for people who haven't seen you, just give us the background. I know you've told the story a million times, but give us the background of the Zapruder film and how you got it and how you brought it to the public.
Alrighty. Abraham Zapruder was a dressmaker, and his office was in Dealey Plaza, across the street from the Texas School Book Depository. And he came to work that day without the camera, and he started being teased about not having a camera. He said, "How many times has the president come down to Dallas?" So eventually he went home, he got the camera, and went down into the plaza and got his perch on the little pedestal area on the north side of Elm Street. And he started filming, and he captured the whole thing. And he was the only one who got the whole thing. There were others who got parts of it. And, they helped fill out the overall picture, but this was the only one who had it all. And it was on 8 millimeter film. And the thing is that Life magazine had heard about the Woodstock film, the film that blew up all the 8 millimeter home movies to 35 millimeter for the movie. And they were wondering whether it would work with the Zapruder film. So they brought us the original film, and we blew it up and did a pretty decent job. And
You were
a
working at the
copy was made.
magazine, right? At the time.
No, I then never worked at Life.
Oh,
The stuff that I did at Life, I was doing as a researcher for a documentary on the
uh-huh.
case, on the Kennedy case. But I never worked for Life.
I didn't realize that. So how did you just were interested in and started researching and got in touch with them, but somehow through Life magazine, that's how you got the film, right?
Yeah, indirectly. My boss, Mo Weitzman, bless his heart, who has unfortunately passed away, uh, knew about my interest in the case, and we talked about it many, many times. And I didn't know that he had kept a mechanic's copy, and he gave it to me. And that's what I released on Goodnight America.
Yeah, and I mean, it's amazing because it's 62 years since the assassination. A lot of people don't realize it's 50 years since your historic release of the film. And I mean, describe that to us because it was really a different time in terms of media. Even just looking at this image of you guys on set, the notion that you could be in a hotel room on a phone calling me and doing a high definition broadcast, it's just become such a different media landscape, right?
That's true. The It's a different world altogether now, and uh, one thing that's a constant is the cover-up still goes on, which is very, very
That's
sad.
that is amazing. But it's 50 years since you brought the world this film. How did people react that night in the audience and in the immediate aftermath of the release of the Zapruder film?
Well, we had actually done the transfer of the film to videotape, and it was a videotape that was rolled during the show. But the audience had not seen the film before this, neither had anybody else. And at the moment of the fatal headshot, when the head explodes, and the person is pushed forward by the first shot, and then the fatal shot, they killed him, threw him to the left. There we go. There's the film. The whole audience, as one, went, ah! It was so shocking. You know, we'd all been told by the Warren Commission and the news media that the shot came from behind, and everybody expected the president to be thrown forward. And since he was thrown backward, because the shot did come from the grassy knoll from the front, they weren't ready for it.
Well, and of course, just the graphic nature of seeing somebody shot like that had to be, I mean, we've become a desensitized society to some extent, right? I mean, we see all this violence on YouTube and television and movies. 1963 really didn't see that. It just, the media saturation in general is I think, difficult for people to understand. And, you know, it's been several years, Robert, since you and I have spoken. Have I shared any of the information with you that I've learned about Roger Sharp? Does that name ring a bell with you?
The name sounds very familiar, but I can't place it.
Roger Sharp is a guy who was a newsman with ABC. I've come to know about him because his son has sued me, and I think it's a case of lawfare. But Roger Sharp, his son maintains this Roger Sharp archive, and Roger Sharp was a guy who was stationed inside the Dallas police station telling us that Lee Harvey Oswald has shot the president. And this was one of the very first live video broadcasts ever. The Telstar satellite that enabled the broadcast was only put into orbit in May of 1963. And one thing that strikes me about the first interview, or, you know, the first telecast that he's doing there from the police station, is that the general public is so unfamiliar with the concept of a video camera and a live video broadcast that while the reporter is giving the report, the police are crossing in front of the camera, standing there having conversations, to the extent that the cameraman has to wave the guy out of the way.
Yeah, it was a very strange situation. People were so used to videotape instead of film that a lot of people to this day talk about videotapes shot in Dealey Plaza. There were none. The only stuff that was shot professionally in the plaza was 16 millimeter black and white, and the amateur stuff is the color stuff that I've blown up and released through the years.
No, wait a minute. Professional films, the only films most people have ever seen from Dealey Plaza is the Zapruder film. There's all kinds of rumors about other films. And what would you say have you learned, first of all, since 1963, and anything recently with these new releases of the JFK files under Trump?
No, there's been nothing new that's released. It's kind of funny. I don't know how to get into this. There's a new investigation going on. We call it the Luna investigation. And they're supposed to be trying to find out all the stuff that hasn't been released yet. And they're looking for a particular film taken by a man named Wigman. And it was brought up today at the symposium that I'm at now. They're looking for the original film. I know where it is. And I called them. I told them I know where it is. And they're supposed to be going crazy trying to find it. I've told them already where it is, and they don't seem to be doing anything about it.
Where is it?
Well, a copy of the film is on my videotape. I have a videotape. It's a video cassette, a DVD.
Can people buy that?
And oh yeah.
Where do they go to get that?
Sweetie?
Is there a website?
What?
The Assassination film is downstairs. It's not here.
No, I know it's not. Yeah, we have it's downstairs. The copy that we have. It's called the Assassination Films, and what's the address to code?
Janet, Janet.
Yeah, it's my wife's website.
Email.
It's her email. Jeez, I'm so confused. I was sleeping before.
Sorry about
uh,
that.
it's okay. Um, it's Janet, Janet, Groden, Gro.
Claire.
Janet Claire 29 at airmail.net.
No, at
No,
gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
And people can order the DVD from you, Robert? Is that it?
Yeah, yeah. And it's cost
For what?
for the
Film? The film is 25 mailed to you.
yeah, 25, and then that covers postage.
And so you've got this Wigman video on there.
Yeah, it's on there. It's one of like 20 videos or so. And the thing is that the Wigman film was professional, black and white, 16 millimeter. And it shows the doorway of the depository.
Oh, is this it?
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Huh.
Good for you.
So how is it that Anna Paulina Luna can't find it? I found it in 5 minutes. So wow, look at that. I don't think I've ever seen
they
this
don't.
before.
They don't want the videotape. They want the original film.
The original film, right? Okay.
So
right. So this
is
is
the depository doorway.
And perhaps
just past it.
Right. Yeah. And people have said that Lee Harvey Oswald is standing there, right?
Right, but he's not. It's Billy Lovelady. It's not Oswald. When I worked for the House Assassinations Committee, the very first interview that the committee did was with Billy Lovelady. I was sent to Denver, where he was living before he passed away. And he said it's definitely him in the depository. It's not Oswald. His wife said the same thing. Said that it's definitely Billy. She showed me their wedding album. You'd swear it was Oswald. But it's not. It's Billy Lovelady.
Wow. So do you think that this Anna Paulina Luna investigation is doing a good job? Have any chance that she'll get to any...
Do I think so right now? No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, from the time they started, I've been contacting them. From 1963 on, all the government investigations after the Warren Commission have called me as a witness, every one of them, except them.
Wow.
They have avoided me like the plague, and I think the reason why is because some of the people who have spoken to them and given evidence disagree with the books that I've written and the films I've released and like that. You know, you mentioned the Zapruder film. The Zapruder film is what I'm, quote, famous for. That's what I'm known for. But I've released the Zapruder film, the Nix film, the Muchmore film, the Bronson film, the Atkins film, all of them, nearly 20 of them. And they're all on the DVD. And DVD that's just one of the two DVDs. There's another one called The Killing of a President and JFK, The Case for Conspiracy. It's just, there's so many of them, and one's a documentary. The blue one's a documentary. It's the same price. And so one is the assassination films, and the other is JFK, The Case for Conspiracy. And
now, Robert,
50,
when people buy this from Amazon, do you get this $89, or is this somebody else selling your movie?
No, it's me.
Oh, great! So people can go to Amazon.
Yeah, if you go to Amazon, it's they'll sell it directly, but that way I get ripped off because they don't even have them.
Oops.
And what they do is they'll take the order, and Amazon keeps the money.
Wow.
You know, and I never hear about it until stuff doesn't show up.
That's terrible. So, but people can email your
terrible.
wife, and then you'll fulfill the order. Is there no longer a website directly for you? Not
anymore. What happened is I had a very, very successful website. It was doing very well. And the company that was doing it sold it to somebody else. and he was taking orders for books that he didn't have, and he was willing to sell my own material back to me for $50,000.
Wow. What a nice guy.
Well, welcome to the JFK investigation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but can people still meet you in Dealey Plaza? That's how you and I met. I went to Dealey Plaza. You were there signing books and material. You still do that?
No, not anymore. It hasn't been for a year now. At the turn of the year, when it went from 24 to 25, I had heart surgery, and three of them, and had a stroke in the middle of one of the operations. So, because of the heat and the pressure and whatever, uh, I had to after 30 years stop going down to the plaza.
So sorry to hear that.
It was devastating, and my memory is really really shot, unfortunately. But I've got the 8 books that have been in print through the years. They're all out of print now, except for the new one, which I do believe you have, JFK Absolute Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the latest one. It has 1,000 pictures in it, 1,000 pictures, and colored throughout. The whole book is on acid-free semi-gloss paper, and of all the 8 books I've that's it. You're really prepared. Good for you. Good for you. And you can order the book too.
Hmm.
At the book it's $100. It includes postage, and that's within the United States. The postage department, the post office, is charging outrageous prices to ship it to Europe, around the world.
Wow. Yeah.
But the book is getting out there. Of the 1,000 pictures in the book, about 80% of them have never been released before. And as it goes, this one's my swan song.
Yeah.
And
It really is something else. I can't recall if I've told you about this. I mean, I'm sure I must have, but I had discovered when I went to the National Archives that Lee Harvey Oswald was an amateur 3D photographer and had several boxes of Kodak stereoscopic slides and a stereo realist in the Payne's garage. Has anybody ever located those photos?
If they have, I haven't heard about it. The stereoscopic slides are like, people have to imagine a Viewmaster, and no stereoscopic views in a Viewmaster. His was on 35 millimeter film, and you need 2 good eyes to see it, to see them. But it's amazing the stuff that he had. He had a Minox camera, which is a professional spy camera, which was it cost more money to buy
Right.
one of those cameras than he had made in a decade. So
Yeah, they were very expensive. It was an interesting collection. There's a Viewmaster reel released in June of 1963 of Kennedy's trip to Ireland. That's also a collectible item. And then here's the photo from the Payne's garage that shows these boxes. We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 10 boxes of stereoscopic slides. I've circled the Stereo Realist 3D camera right here. You can see the Minox camera. I think this is it right here. Yeah, this is it.
in the middle on the top.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
I mean, it's
It
just
got
an
very
incredible
confusing.
array of equipment here.
There was a problem that there's the camera itself, and there was a light meter too, and they kept getting confused the way the government was dealing with them as to what was what, or who actually owned it, whether it was him or Michael Payne, and It's never been totally resolved, but it was Lee's camera.
So
And
since the Kennedy assassination, we've had, I mean, they've basically done an incredibly good job of covering it up and obscuring the facts to the extent that maybe we'll never know. I think it's likely that we'll never know the full truth. But now we've had this new spate of assassinations and assassination attempts. We had the Trump assassination attempt in Butler in 2024, and now, of course, Charlie Kirk. Do you have any thoughts about either of those incidents? Any similarities to the JFK assassination, as far as you know?
Yeah, but we don't know the truth about any of them.
It's true.
It's too involved to get into that right now, really. But a lot of people, myself included, think that the Trump assassination was staged. And here the shots go off. He looks immediately and jumps to the ground, and he shoots up. And when he shoots up, he's got the blood coming by the, or what they call blood, coming from his ear. And the whole thing seemed wrong. The way people were reacting around in the Secret Service and what have you. I personally don't think that it was genuine. Charlie Kirk, I have really no information about, except that it just has a bad ring to it. The whole thing sounds bad.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what to say to you about that.
Well, let's talk about, maybe Tyler Robinson, the guy who was scheduled to go on trial for the murder of Charlie Kirk, and any similarities to Lee Harvey Oswald. Perhaps a lot of people seem to think he didn't actually do it and that he's a patsy who's maybe been set up. It's kind of interesting, those kind of similarities, isn't it?
It could very, very well be. Oswald was certainly a patsy. There's no question about that. The Kennedy assassination started a series of these things, which includes Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of those back in the 60s into the 70s and up till now. Because of inconsistencies and provable falsehoods about them, it makes it very, very difficult to try to draw a conclusion based on what we hear, because we don't know what we can trust. I've written 8 books on the assassination now. I've produced 3 video programs, and I can tell you that we have more questions than we've had answers. We've answered a lot of the questions, but every time we answer one question, we have between 3 and 10 additional questions. So I don't know that we can ever really solve it at this stage of the game. There's been so much BS put out by the assassination media, if you will, and I don't know. When I released my book High Treason, I published for the first time my interviews with the Dallas doctors. I interviewed over 20 of them, and I now have a total of statements from 79 witnesses, every one of which says that the autopsy photographs that are in evidence now, that's a bootleg copy of the book right there. That was published illegally.
Wow.
And yeah, that's what kept me from getting any royalties on it.
Wow.
There's a copy of the book that's dark blue, and that's legitimate. Everything after that has been faked. It started getting bootlegged in Canada too.
Wow.
But the point is that to get stuff out, if you succeed in doing that, it's a miracle, because we had to self-publish. That's the one. That's the legitimate one right there. Right now, it's been out of print for decades. It's like 1988, and that book should have made a massive difference in the case. I introduced to the public my interviews with the Dallas doctors in it, saying what they had seen and proving that what was in the autopsy photographs was illegitimate. And I thought that that would definitely make the case reopen and we could find the truth. It didn't. Uh, it became #1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
Wow.
And we have about the only remaining copies left.
Wow.
So.
And so many of the historical figures who are involved in this, obviously it's 62 years since the assassination. Cyril Wecht recently died. There's very few people who remain who were involved to the level that you were and people like that.
You know, we're at a conference right now, a symposium, and in the symposium, there's dozens of people, the speakers and witnesses and what have you. And it dawned on me that when you look around, there's myself, there's Josiah Thompson, and there's Gary Shaw. And we're the only 3 that are left from the 1960s that are still doing this. And I was 18 the day it happened. You know, that my birthday is tomorrow. And I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, and I'm 80 now. So it's
amazing.
It's kind of devastating when you think about it. And the cover-up has gone on this long, 82 years. I'm sorry.
62, yeah.
62 years.
It's unbelievable. It really is. I mean, and it doesn't both. I mean, that in and of itself is a similarity, I think, to the whatever happened to the Trump assassination attempt, the Charlie Kirk assassination. It does have this stench of, you know, deep state, whatever you want to call it, CIA kind of conspiracy. We just will never really know the true facts. I can't recall if you and I ever spoke about this guy, James Files, who claims to have been behind the grassy knoll. Do you think he is legitimate?
With Files, I don't know. I just don't know. I can't tell. Most people don't believe him. A lot of people do. He wrote me a letter back in 1990s, saying that my book High Treason was the closest thing to the truth that he had read.
Wow.
And he's been since released from prison. He was arrested for attempting to kill 1 or 2. I think it was 2, but I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore. Chicago police officers, and he got arrested for it. And while he was in jail, it was discovered that he was telling the story that he had killed President Kennedy, that he fired the fatal shot from the grassy knoll. You know, so clearly somebody did do that, and whether him or not, I can't tell you for sure. I wouldn't bet money on it either way. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. As my wife Janet points out, why would they hire some punk kid off the street for a job of such importance? And theoretically, what he's saying is that he had the history of it when he was in the military service. And I honestly don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to know.
Yeah.
But he says he did it. He's bragged about it. He showed up in Dealey Plaza a couple of times and stood on the X that I put down the street, the middle of Elm Street, and is smiling at the camera for people. And that's the XP100 Fireball gun.
The gun he claims to have used.
That's the gun he claims to use. But it's a single shot weapon. You can only use one bullet in at a time. That if you miss your first shot, you've missed your opportunity. That doesn't ring true to me. You know, you'd think that you want to have a backup somewhere along the line. But I know what do I know? I've never killed anybody.
You know, I interviewed him a few years ago, and I have to
Hmm.
say, I think he I think he was telling the truth. I agree. There's a lot about the story that's quite strange. He went into some detail saying that he was in this camp in Montauk where, sort of like troubled youth, and, he wasn't just some guy off the street. He had been trained militarily to be a killer. And I think he
Yeah,
was a psychopath, probably. Obviously, is a murderer. He's fallen out of touch. I wasn't able to reach him at the phone number that I had for him previously, and I don't know where he is now. But I think he is still alive, and I don't know. It's a pretty compelling story that he told.
well, I was just talking with a guy who's a friend of his this afternoon, and he said he's alive and well, but uh, he believes him. And my wife Jan and I have a specific feeling, and that is, if he's lying, he's guilty of obstruction of justice and should remain in jail.
Right.
If he's telling the truth, he's a murderer and should be
Should be
tried,
in jail. Right.
should be executed for what he did. I don't know. It's a strange thing that anyone come forward and what they call a confessing Johnny and start telling stories like that. It may be true. It may not be. I don't know. I really
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
He certainly had a
since
lot
you
of
get that,
details about it.
yeah, yeah. He tells a story, and he brings in people like Charles Nicoletti and others as co-conspirators. But he also said that he knew Oswald, he met Oswald, but that Oswald was not a shooter. We know that that's true, and don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, Robert. I know it's late, and it's generous of you to join me. Is there anything else you think we should discuss?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. We don't know where this is going to go now after 62 years with all the newer stuff that's coming out now. You got Trump taking credit for the release of all of the stuff that he originally prevented from being released. He had the opportunity to do it, and he stopped it. Now, apparently, trying to make points with the Robert Kennedy Jr., he's reversed his attitude toward the whole thing, and has released some, but not all, of the materials. We still don't know what there is, and the stuff is not archived or indexed. So it could take decades to find out what's already been released and what's still unreleased.
Have you had an opportunity to speak to Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Yes, yes. Somewhere in my phone, I've got a picture of Janet and myself with him, and
That had to be interesting. I think he agrees with your. I mean, obviously, it wasn't Sirhan who shot his father.
that's right. Yeah, he doesn't believe that Oswald killed his uncle either,
Yeah.
and that's an interesting point because in my book, in I think you do have absolute proof,
Yeah,
don't you?
I do.
Okay. In JFK Absolute Proof, I put in the statements that he, his cousin, and Jackie Kennedy all made, saying that none of them believed that Oswald was guilty. Jackie knows because she was there and she knows the shot came from the front. When talking about the wound to the Warren Commission, she said that the wound came from the front and it blew out the back of his head.
Yeah.
She said that she had put her hand on the head. She was trying to hold it together. She said you couldn't. There was nothing there. But the exit was in the back of the head.
Very strange that something similar did not happen with Charlie Kirk, right? They're telling us a high powered rifle was shot at him from the front, but it stopped inside his body. That seems a little weird to me.
I don't know what to say. When Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby, the bullet was never recovered.
Oh,
I
there was a
mean,
close,
and
handgun in
Ruby,
a.
well, Ruby was alive and allegedly used a 38 revolver. And since there was going to be a trial, you'd think that the bullet would be a certainly important piece of evidence. Yet to this day, it's never been seen.
I think they like to do that because they know that ballistic evidence, that is very telling. And so if it's never seen, it all just becomes speculation. I mean, this had to be the craziest thing for people to see live on
Mm.
TV. And all these guys were alive and talking for a long, long time. What was this detective's name? I forget.
Uh, Jim Lavelle.
Lavelle. Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah,
is just such a crazy, crazy scene with, and of course, Jack Ruby told them that he would tell them everything if they would, get him, out of Dallas and into Washington, D.C. And then he gets that fast-acting cancer that Judith
yeah.
Baker says was put in there by the CIA. There's so much intrigue.
There's a lot to ignore, and there's a lot to try to investigate. And no one's really trying to do it except the research community. And they, the powers that be, they could do something about it, do nothing. And the district attorney of Dallas at the time, Henry Wade, was interested in what I had to say. He called me into his office, and I gave him the whole slide presentation and film presentation. And he said if he ever reopened the case, he wanted me to go to work for him. And I said, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'd like you to do it. They never would. Anyway, I think that every one of them knew that Oswald didn't do it,
Yeah.
and they manufactured so much stuff against him that didn't get challenged, but got backed by the Warren Commission, and it's just so much of it. The Warren Commission had 7 members. Of the 7 members, 3 of them didn't believe it. They didn't bother to tell you that. They're supposed to put in a dissenting review report, and they didn't. The House Assassinations Committee had 2 dissenting review reports. Cyril Wecht did the medical evidence, and I did the photographic evidence.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Hale Boggs have some things to say about not trusting the Warren
Right.
Commission?
He didn't. He was the most vocal of them all, and he's the one whose body has never been recovered.
Right.
He
Plane
was in
crash.
a plane, in
They
Alaska.
love
Right.
plane crashes too, Robert.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That
you've
that
ever
part.
looked at TWA 800, but there's so many mysterious plane crashes.
There's plane crashes. There's heart attacks. There's cancers. There's everything.
It's really nuts. Well, Robert, thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to speak to us. It's great to see you again. And what I'll do is I'll include the email address in the notes for this video. So if people want to order the book, they can get it directly from you. Anything else to share with us?
That's great. I appreciate the support that you've always given, and I hope that your stereo projects are working out well.
I haven't done too much with stereo in a long, long time, but I would like to revisit it someday. I do want to find those Lee Harvey Oswald stereoscopic photos. I can tell you if I ever do anything with them, you will be the first person that I contact. And, people, sorry, yeah?
I was going to say that, if they're still around, Marina may have them.
Marina
Her,
Oswald, wow.
yeah, and they would belong to her anyway.
But
But
didn't the government take them? The FBI seized everything. When's the last time you spoke
one,
with Marina Oswald?
I haven't spoken to her now in probably 7 years, maybe 8.
Wow.
When I wrote my 7th book, The Search for Lee Harvey Oswald, I published 600 pictures in that one. The book is now out of print. We're trying to get it reprinted. But it's an interesting story about that. The Search for Lee Harvey Oswald was, as I said, the 7th book I'd written. But there's something in it that really frightens people. And I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some reason, because that's the book. The the CIA went around and bought up copies all around the country, and threatened the bookstores not to reorder,
Wow.
and then threatened my publisher not to print anymore. And the book was selling very, very well at the time, but they had them pulled up. They bought up every copy they could and made it unavailable. So there's something in it that really bothered everybody, and I still don't know what it is.
Has anybody ever directly threatened you, Robert? I know that you've told me stories that all kinds of things have happened throughout your life.
Oh yeah. Uh, in 1983, my house was firebombed. That story is all in absolute proof. Um, the in Dealey Plaza, I was arrested twice, and I was ticketed 84 times, and I was attacked a half a dozen times in the plaza. Uh, one of those occasions was a guy with a hunting knife that came scooting around the pergola at me. He had a hunting knife in his hand, and the fellow who was working for me saw it happening, and he ran across, knocked the knife out of the guy's hand into the dirt. Uh, we recovered the knife and like that, and called the police. We held the guy for an hour for attempted murder. We hold him. The police ignored all of our calls to them. They never showed up. In the meantime, the part of the problems that I've had in the last couple of years, health-wise, were because whatever the city did, which was, it was very simple what they did, but there's a chemical called chlorpyrifos, and it's a neuro chemical that just does crazy things to the body. And I and four others were uh, standing on the knoll one day, and it was a light day. There weren't very many people, and two guys showed up in hazmat suits and sprayed us with this stuff. And we followed them back to the truck, and we saw what the chemical was that they had. And they said that they were ordered to do it. Well, it was so illegal that it was very soon thereafter made illegal, and you couldn't do it, even with you couldn't use it even with a permit. And it was kept illegal until Trump came along and made it legal again. But of the five of us, four
Wow.
are now dead. I'm the only one who's left alive.
Wow. Wow. What is this? Wow. That's crazy. My God.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. I went to sue the city, and we had unfortunately a corrupt judge who threw it out of court without even hearing any of the evidence. We
Yeah,
never had
well,
a trial.
still happens to this day.
Yeah, well, yeah. Welcome to Dallas. You're civilized. Stay at the door.
Well, Robert, happy birthday, happy anniversary. Thanks again
Thank you.
for joining me, and I hope I see you again soon. As I said, I'm going to
Would be
share
very
the
nice.
email address so that people can purchase the book, and I want to remind people they can sponsor Crowdsource the Truth on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com and on subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Great to see you, Robert. And I wish you well. I'll see you soon.
Wonderful seeing you too. If you get a chance, I don't know if you can, but if you can, you send me a copy of this interview. I'd appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.